Hey, boys and girls, morning Bramble, or that's what I decided to call it, a Bramble, because I'm going to ramble, not make any sense at all because I haven't had enough coffee yet. But anyway, July 2nd, 2021. So, God, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with me. I keep playing this clip. This one. You guys are going to get sick of this clip.
And I've confronted evolutionary biologists.
Whoops. I can't hear it, but you can. Let me try that again. I always do this. Always do this.
I said,
no.
Okay, so tell me what's the, the evolution of mammary glands. And they do there's some really sketchy things that's in the literature.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they'll say,
yeah. So he confronted evolutionary biologists. Where and when did he do that? That's what I've been worrying about all night. Anyway, so something like that, little tiny clip, and it sets me off on this this adventure. Most of my adventures, I don't get very far on them. So far, I've downloaded, I think, 8 papers by a man named Olaf Oftedal. And Scott's gonna join me. Hey, Scott. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with me. I keep playing this clip over and over. This clip is in my nightmares.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should go to the breaker box, turn off all the electricity, and
reset.
Yeah, just reset.
Well, I unplugged my Apple TV and plugged it. Waited 15 seconds and plugged it back in, and it's still playing.
Yeah.
In my head. I don't know. I have no idea what's wrong.
So this was a 6-hour marathon?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I did for 6 hours last night?
You slept.
I slept.
Oh, this is an old clip. This is from days ago.
Oh, okay.
This is the mammary gland thing.
You know what I did that night? I slept.
I stayed up all night and played this clip.
I guarantee you that any 6 or 7 hour live stream that goes on in the middle of the night, I'm sleeping.
I just wanted to give Maddox some material for his next, the next appearance that he makes.
Yeah. Well,
so you can talk about.
That's all you need. He'll go on for 2 hours about how wrong we are. And you know what I really enjoyed was Dr. Daniel Stern Cardinelli.
Yes.
On his Creathemist channel, did a 20-minute clip of that conversation they were having where he asked John Maddox if he can name any, or if he knows of any first replicators that are still around today, essentially.
Right.
What replicators do we have today that were around? And at some point he just mentioned that, well, you interrupted a discussion between me and Cy, and then he went silent after that. So that was fun.
So Dan did that last night?
At some point, yeah. It was a rebroadcast of some conversation they were having elsewhere. No, actually, it was on his. No, it was not on his stream, on his own channel. It was on somebody else's channel. I don't know whose. And but it was an interesting discussion.
Yeah. See if you find me a link to that. That would be interesting. Alrighty. So,
David, good morning, and I'll let you and Speed talk while I look for that.
Good morning.
Yep.
I'm a late riser today. I just got up basically.
Yeah,
Yesterday I was up 4 hours earlier.
I got up at 5:30 this morning, so
Yeah.
that's medium for me, but I probably shouldn't have done that. I think it's Friday, right? Cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to try to take
actually,
next week off.
I actually was awake 4 hours ago, but I went back to sleep because I was up really early yesterday. So
yeah,
it's like, man, I can't get up that early. That's like not enough sleep. So I actually went back to. Usually I can't. Usually once I wake up, that's it. I'm done. I can't sleep. I cannot take naps during the day ever. Like never. So that's out of the question.
Oh, I
like,
can.
Even if I only sleep, I mean, many times I sleep, 2-3 hours, and still I can't go take naps ever. So I don't know. Difficult.
I can nap.
Yeah.
I can nap in 3 minutes. I can lay down, fall solidly to sleep for anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour and a half at any time. I've always had that ability. Unfortunately, particularly if I'm in a car, I can fall asleep in like seconds, whether I'm driving or not.
Yeah, some people are like that. I mean, a lot of people take naps, and I'm sure it's so much better for you. If, like for me, if I could take a nap, should I feel great? But I just can't. I don't know why. I just cannot. I mean, it's not that I have never done it, but I mean, it has to be. I would have to be alone in the house, everybody gone, then I could do it. But usually, I just always have too much commotion going around me. Between kids. And, I have kids around me a lot, so.
Oh, if there's noise in the house, I can sleep even better.
Yeah.
I come from a really noisy family. Me and my father were real soft-spoken and quiet. And my father, when he worked midnight shift, he would always get upset because we'd wake him up occasionally with the noise, right? Well, so one afternoon, we all got in the car and took off and let him sleep. And we came home, and he's sitting there at the table, and he said, "I can't sleep when you guys are not making noise." So it turns out he slept better, even though you get woke up occasionally. But have you heard the one that I want to die in my sleep?
No.
Somebody's heard the one that?
Scott.
The best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep.
Okay, was that you, Scott? Okay, are you done echoing now, Scott? Okay. I want to die in my sleep like my grandpa, not screaming like his passengers.
Oh.
I love that one.
Oh, so I thought you were referring to a song.
No. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny. My father-in-law was a big napper. Like, he took a nap every day. And for pretty much his whole life, obviously I've known him. He's passed away since just a few years ago, but he had done that his whole entire life and was never a big, like, physical worker type. He didn't do a lot of physical work, which was kind of, amazing that he still would take these naps. But he did it even when he was younger, too. Like, not even in his older years. He did it when he was younger, too. Yeah. He was that type of person that but he was like that, always an early riser too. So he'd be up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So, but he always went to bed early too. So he got plenty of sleep. But yeah, he was a napper, but I could never do it.
So we got Marshall here and Jerry and Vesta, and oh my God, you guys are all early risers. Amazing. So anyway, I downloaded about 8 papers by this guy, Oftedal. I forgot his first name already. It's also similar to his last name. Olaf, I think it's Olaf Oftedal. And I've been trying to get in touch with him because he seems to be the major player in the evolution of mammary glands. And he is, I think he's got dozens of papers, and I found at least 8 or 10 on mammary glands. And there's just a ton of them, and he goes through the phylogeny, genetics, all the different proteins that are involved, all the different secretions, and there were a lot of different theories, about pouches and feathers and scales, and he came up with the one which is I think it's apocrine gland. Basically, an apocrine gland breaks open, like the top part of the cell breaks off, and it secretes the contents of the cell, but it loses a piece of itself in doing so, and then it grows again and it secretes again. And I think that is the way milk glands work. So he traced this all back to basal tetrapods, in the Devonian, 360 million or more years ago. So very interesting. He's done a lot of work on it. But it's the thing that killed me is Cell saying, I confronted evolutionary biologists. Like, I'm imagining him at a conference, and this guy just give a talk on evolution, and Cell walks up to him and says, "What about the mammary gland?" And it's like, and they probably looked at him like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah. But like you said, Sal doesn't do science. He really doesn't. He's
but I love him.
Cherry picker, right? A little cherry picker, just like Montangelo and the rest of them. Yeah.
But he's my cell pal because he got me started on this whole line of interesting papers and reading them. I love when they start talking about the proteins and the different, all of the different things that are secreted as milk and how that varies across species. Olaf here has a whole paper on how they vary across different groups of animals, these secretions and what's in them, the fats and the proteins and the immune system components. And it is quite an amazing story. Trying to get your mind around 360 million years is the big challenge, because you're not going to buy this until you do that, until you get your mind around how many generations that was. So anyway, I'm having a really good time with this. Really enjoying it.
When you look at that, what you said, 360 million, really, obviously that's a long time, but it's not, when you're talking geological times, that's, that's mammals or Earth has a longer history than that too. Some stuff goes way further back, right?
Well, it's a good chunk, back to 4.5 billion.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 312. So that's about 1/12 of geologic time.
Yeah,
and then a lot of these proteins and precursors started out billions of years ago with prokaryotes.
Right.
And it would be really wonderful to get the genes and go back and find out how many homologs are in bacteria, do a blast and find out how many little pieces we could find of all these alpha keratins and lactose production, all of that stuff.
I found a little interesting. I don't want to not really changing the subject, but I found a little interesting thing. They've discovered a new skull. And they actually named it. It's like a new species of hominin over in China just recently. And
bring that to the weather report.
Yeah. Does Erica? Does she just stick with? Does she do early hominin, or does she do, just apes, or what is her major?
She does
study?
early hominin. Yeah, she does early hominin. Well, she studied it, but her dissertation was on macaques. No, it was actually across a range of primates, but it didn't involve early hominins or anything.
Yeah, so they're very this skull that they found, like a full skull, basically. So it's pretty interesting. There's a few articles on it there's one thing that I found, and it's very new. So they haven't done
dragon skull thing?
Study. Well, they're calling it. They named it hominin long because it was found in China. So for some reason maybe it had something to do with the guy that found, or the scientist that's doing the study on it, or whatever. But it's brand new, and they think it's a much closer relative, or in the tree to, Homo sapiens, then, it like jumps closer to than like Neanderthals. And they think first they were thinking it possibly could be a skull of a Denisovan. But they were
Ooh,
confident. They were confident enough, yeah. Because I think we only have little pieces of the Denisovans, right? A couple of little
right.
finger bones and stuff. But this one's a full skull. So, and they haven't done the full study on it. Whatever. I think it's brand new. So,
Well,
they can actually make a face. They can do a reconstruction face with it, which they haven't done that yet. But yeah, so. They thought it possibly could be a Denisovan, but they were confident enough to give it a new name, give it a name as in a new species, and they think it's it's definitely closer to our lineage and all that. So it's pretty interesting.
I asked Erica if she was going to do a video about it, but she's just got a wait and see attitude right now.
On this new find.
Yeah, she's hoping it sticks, but
right.
Oh, so she knows. Obviously, she knows about it. Then, yeah.
Yeah, she's heard about it, read about it. I'm sure her Google alerts went off as soon as it was published.
Yeah. It was pretty. I thought that was pretty interesting. I just found it yesterday, and I looked at the paper. There was a link. It had 3 papers, 3 articles from different science magazines, I think they were, or whatever they were. It was pretty good.
Which magazines did you look at? I'm looking for a good article about it, but
I could give you. I'd have to let me go back. One of them, there was 2 of them. It was Science Nature. So I don't know what.
Okay.
Well, that's what the links were.
Well, cool.
Do you want me to give you the links? You want to look them up?
Yeah, if you want to put it. Yeah, if you want to put it in private chat, that's great, or even public side chat.
Yeah. Let me go back and I'll throw the links in to those papers.
Are we interrupting your Bramble there, Speed?
No, whatever.
Yeah, sorry, Speed. I didn't mean to change the thing. I just wanted to kind of let you guys know about that. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think it was done for the moment talking about the papers. I just wanted to point out that there are dozens of papers on this stuff. It was pretty cool. But somehow my notepad quit working, and I don't know why. I have no idea.
Where's the one that talks about licking sweat off your mama's breast and it turning to milk?
I can't find that paper.
Okay, well, keep looking.
Yeah, I'm looking. Let's see if I can start a new notebook here. New notebook with squared paper. Create. And we'll see if that works. Because, oh my God, I lost my menu. And I'm sure Danny can tell me how to use this damn thing. But for some reason, the menu at the top is gone. With the... No idea.
What's the app?
It's called Good Notes.
Good Notes. Maybe somebody in the side chat knows how to get that menu to show up in Good Notes.
Share and export. Okay, I don't know what that is. Untitled notebook. Okay, no, don't want to do that. No, can't go back. Untitled notebook 5, and it's gone. The top menu's gone.
Scott, do you want me to give you all 3 articles? He put 3 articles. There's one on the private chat now. You want all 3?
Yeah, if you want, if you've got time and capability, then sure, please.
Yep. No problem. I'll give you all 3. That one was Science News, I think it's called, and then
Sci News or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Sci News. Yeah.
Somewhere I found document page, add page to outline, change page. There we go. What the hell? Got it back. No idea what I did. Oh, just amazing.
This one here is cell.com, they call it. So I don't know what that one is, but
I was trying to figure out what I could talk about that would like simultaneously piss off Danny, Leo, and Immutable.
All at the same time. That's pretty
ambitious. Yeah.
Well, I know I could piss Danny off by talking about natural selection, and I could piss all three of them off by talking about scientism. So, I mean, well, actually, I piss everybody off when I talk about scientism. Even Midnight got pissed off about scientism. And it's like, why do you use scientism when it's a derogatory term? Well, I like scientism. Basically, the idea that you can figure anything out using science. So that's kind of what it's all about. And there are a lot of people that think, oh yeah, science is really great for figuring out rocks and biology and stuff like that. But when it comes to intentional states or consciousness or morality or humans, this and that, anything to do with the mind, scientism, just you can't use that. You can't use it for art or anything, So, but I disagree. I think it works well for everything. So, scientism will piss them all off. So I don't know. What do you think? Natural selection?
Sure.
Yep.
Just piss Danny off. Call it a day. But so natural selection, I decided, is a theory, and a theory has many parts. Many statements, many different pieces. So it's also a mechanism. So natural selection, like when we talk about the mechanism, but it consists of more than one mechanism, because you've got you start out with with a copy, like some process that will copy genomes from the ancestor to the offspring, that sort of thing. And then there's another piece of that would be, and I need a different color for that, and that would be mutation. So there's copy and there's copy errors. So there's like errors in the copying, right? And then this, you have the point here where you have some sort of a mating point, right? And then you have your progeny that basically pops out of there. And the progeny has some period until it matures. So you have maturation or whatever, right? So during this time right here, this period until it matures and goes back around and creates another, let's see here. I'm going to do a green thing. Okay. It goes, loops around, and basically creates a new copy. Okay. But that's still not the whole story. Oh, okay. This is what Danny calls a tautology. And I don't see how something this complicated can be a tautology. Okay. So what we end up with here is a filter. So this is going to determine, based on what exactly this genotype is here, how many of those things end up actually getting to this maturation point and reproducing, right? And so they reproduce. And then further complicating this is all done on a population. So we're interested in how something in this gene or genotype changes across in a population, okay? And a population is going to have variation because of this mutation thing. So the mutation is going to cause variation. So natural selection is typically thought of as this filter right here. So it's this thing, the filter that gets you into the future, right? Now, what I want to point out to Danny and any photo lovers is that there's nothing in this that talks about traits. No one talks about which traits there are at this point for natural selection, for the population genetic and genetics portion of it. All we care about is something called fitness. And fitness is the result of whatever this filter is, okay? We're going to end up with a fitness number for some or all of this gene here. Okay, so we're interested in that. And we're interested in the variation in this population of these genotypes, that sort of thing. And it has nothing to do with traits. If you want to talk about traits, like we want to talk about the mammary glands and how the mammary glands led to increased fitness, well, then we're talking about embryology and ecology. So we're talking about the interaction. We are talking about this filter, but we're talking about a different kind of science, or basically a different field of science. So this whole thing here kind of represents natural selection. Now, the other thing that makes it not a tautology is that there are different kinds of sexual mating, different kinds of mating, sexual, asexual. There's diploid, there's haploid, and I think there are some other variations. So there's a very complicated way that this copy mutation happens. There's a very complicated way that this filter happens. And then what we're interested in is, this population right here. So, and so, I mean, that is a pretty rich and deep theory, and there's no way in hell that you can call that a tautology. Now, these coextensive traits that Danny talks about, and that's sort of their big thing, the thump of the heart and the pumping blood, hasn't got a goddamn thing to do with any of this. I haven't talked about traits yet. Doesn't matter which traits. If we were to do a computer model, we could create a function for this filter. Had nothing to do with traits, nothing to do with embryology, nothing to do with ecosystems. That's an entirely different field of science that would study that particular thing. Of course, in evolution, we're always telling stories. We're telling the story of how we think something evolved, what the natural pressures were, what the environment did, all of that. But yeah, that's a whole other part of the theory of evolution. So anyway, that's my little diagram for natural selection. So piss Danny off. Now, who else can I piss off?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, like you said, as a complete lay person, it really, I think I have a pretty good grasp on, generally how this stuff works without, when you get into the real details of it, it really seems to make sense. And I'm pretty confident on the discoveries and what science is working on. And maybe things may change a little bit here and there as we learn more details. But, for these idiots, for people that go out there to say that, evolution is not true because it has problems here or there or wherever, it just, to me, is ridiculous,
Yeah.
So.
And there's, what I'm targeting here is a different class of not idiots, but the ignorant, who are philosophers of science that came about in roughly around 2000 to 2004 and thought they could do away with the idea of natural selection and turn this into just a historical story. Well, the historical story is it's all these just so stories, right? And that's not what we're interested in. We're interested in evidence, and we're interested in this entire theory here, and we're interested in population genetics. And we might pick, for instance, if you were doing a study on natural selection, you would pick one gene in here, just one little area of that entire genotype, right? Yeah. And you would be interested in how it spread in a population, and you would want to count it. And then you would end up with numbers, like you'd have 0.1 of, oh my God, purple doesn't work, does it? So you'd have 0.1 of type A, and you'd have 0.23 of type B, and 0.5 of type C. And so you're interested in how this changes over time, basically with successive generations going back and forth, and you're interested in a population. A population is, if you imagine a blob, and if you're just talking about this thing right here, and you're just interested in this one little gene, that sort of thing, okay, you're going to look at that population, and you're going to look at how these individual types spread across that population. Yeah. And then further, that population may be divided by a river, or it may branch off because of for a number of different reasons. Right. Yep. Like for humans, it's interesting. I grew up in a small town in northern Minnesota. A lot of my friends married people who grew up in that same town. Yeah. And then other people moved to another state and married people from there. And you look at how populations mix, and you can do that in the forest too. So I mean, it's all a very rich theory, but natural selection probably hinges on this filter thing. You know, how this genotype becomes a phenotype and gets selected for across a population, and how it varies. And there's some surprising things about it. There's a number of different kinds of selection. It isn't just the survival of the fittest, which is probably the silliest way to look at it. I mean, there are lots of there are some genes, there are some circumstances of A and B where A and B to get, basically if you have one A and one B, you have a higher fitness than if you just have one or the other, or if you have two A's or two B's, you know, that sort of thing. Yep. I mean, there's just all sorts of variation in between. It's very, very complicated. And I don't understand how philosophers of science can call that a tautology. And that's kind of
I love the point. I love that point that you just brought up of survival of the fittest. And of course, a lot of the real laid people, creationists try to use, like to use that one. It's really, that's not really what it is,
Like they try to directionalize it.
Yeah, they try to say that's the whole thing. That's all of natural selection, and it's not.
Yep. So, I'm going to put a mutable. Can you come in for a minute? It'd be cool if we could talk. Because I think we needed, like, Immutable wants to start reading papers again, or pick some papers. And I think we need to, like, we can focus on abiogenesis. Right now I'm focusing on this mammary gland thing. We could pick one or the other and just focus on a series of papers. I've been trying to find this Professor Oftedal, or whatever his name is. Oftedal. Olaf Oftedal. He works apparently at the University of Washington. Published the most recent paper in 2020. And I think I was showing just a little piece of that paper. But we could go in that direction. We could, dig into something, right? We got this little 30-second or two-minute challenge from my pal Cell, and I just thought it might be nice to run with one of those things and just dig in for a few weeks and see what happens. I don't know.
And see, and like I said, my point, or I brought this up. You may go after Cell, but we dig into stuff like this, and it's not like we're just attacking his character or attacking him. We go after.
On the contrary, he brought us something, right? Even though he did a really crappy job of bringing it to us with that 2-minute bullshit clip he did, he brought us something that, like, I thought, how did that evolve? I don't know, and it's like, okay, let's go look.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm interested in. And I thought that was, so, and he bring, Toporus isomerase, which is his big favorite, right? And the evolution of eukaryotes. Now, if we go into abiogenesis, we've got a paper day before yesterday on how the membrane of a prokaryote gets kind of like invaginates. Basically, it kind of dips in and branches off and becomes a structure inside of the cell. that sort of thing. We got a paper on that, and all of these things are basically at the beginning of the evolution of eukaryotes, which is another challenge that Cell laid out, and he did a lot better job of that one. Not much better, because he didn't go. I mean, it's like he didn't offer. If he really wants to do this right, he is going to have to start looking for how did that evolve, and pick on the individual papers and mechanisms. He can't just say, "Oh, incredulity. How did that evolve?" And throw it, and then start giggling and laughing with Emery.
Right. But that's what he wants to do. That's what he is doing. But yeah. Is he still doing that? Is he still writing like a computer model on something? I can't remember what he's.
Well, he wrote a paper, and I cannot find that paper. So I would have. He was one of the authors. He was an advisor on one of the papers, and they wrote something for modeling the folding of proteins.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And it looks like it was a really. The interesting thing is that he reveals that all of these scientists that did this, they didn't mention anything about intelligent design or anything, but that's where they want to go with it. They're looking for the signature of God, is what they're looking for.
Yeah, I know. It's just Jesus, really, like.
But they want to get published. They want to get published.
Good luck with that, Sal. And the ridiculous thing too is what he said. Even after that is, then I'm gonna. Like you said, he feels like he's won the battle against evolution, and now I'm gonna go after, geology next, and then the big fish I'm gonna go after. He's gonna rewrite Maxwell's equations, and it's like that's just getting into crazy shit. Like seriously, Sal.
Yep. Well,
are you really serious about it? Yeah.
They did get a paper published. And so they're doing it, and they're getting into mainstream journals, and they realize that if they mention ID or creationism or anything, they're not going to get published, but they're very, very careful about it. And so they published a paper, and I think they created a program, which is probably a really good program. I don't know. I want to see it. I want to use it. And they came up with some really interesting software to fold proteins. And I think they tested it out on one protein so far, or something. So if anybody knows where that paper is, or even the video where he talks about it, I would have to go back and search for an hour to find out where he talked about it. It was about 3-4 weeks ago, something like that. Anyway, I'm really interested in anyone out there who has any information on it.
So let me ask you now, like, so that one paper, does he really think that one paper has completely flipped evolution on its? I mean, what is he? So that's why they did the paper.
But
where is he at? Like, he thinks he's completely.
He has, he has on his website or on his YouTube channel.
Yeah. Okay.
So. That's just, his personal thing on his YouTube channel. He thinks he's really tore it down, but this group of people, they have a different tack. They're looking for that signature of God.
Yeah.
And if they find it, good for them. Bully for them.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Show us, because damn it, we all want to see it if it's there.
Yeah. And like I talked about the other. I seem to be getting a big echo. Is that me? No?
I don't know.
I don't have anything on, but it's gone now. So anyway, I mean, like I talked about the other day, it's not that science has not tried to prove God. I mean, there's lots of things. The other thing I didn't mention the other day is, they search for the, any evidence of the Exodus, right? In the Bible that the Jews crossed the desert there or something. I don't know shit about the Bible, but I mean, they looked for evidence of that. They've, searched for Noah's Ark, which according to Ontangelo, they found, and it's science has desperately tried to prove, anything in the Bible, and none of it has, there are people and places that have, that is true, but not the major stories. All the major stories are all a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, I think that Myth
Pretty much.
Vision channel is the place to go to start looking for the history of that particular era and way and what happened, and try to make some sense out of it.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing. So, hey, Peter.
Hey, I jumped in because of what Marshall said in the side chat.
What did Marshall say?
P. Mars was in Amy's stream spouting nonsense. That wasn't all he did.
What? Oh no, that's an A.
He explained that what the Bible says, it actually doesn't say that. So when the Bible says God hardened Pharaoh's heart, that doesn't mean God hardened Pharaoh's heart. That means Pharaoh hardened Pharaoh's heart.
Yeah.
Because if it would really mean that God did that, and then he would ask, let my people go, and then make Pharaoh not let the people go, that wouldn't make sense. Well, shit, it doesn't. As does a lot of the Bible. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you can just take it and twist it around any way you want, and that's the whole game that they play. It's you can just make shit up, right? You're just making shit up, twist it around, and everything is okay for them.
Yeah. What I didn't know is that slavery was basically what we do today when we hire people.
That's how they do.
That is,
yeah. Well, Jill, that's a big thing for Jill, right?
Some jobs.
So I'm off to cross the border into Germany to buy a few workers. See how that goes.
There you go.
Yeah.
I can try.
Say hi to my niece while you're out there.
Is your niece in Germany?
Yeah.
Don't transfer any illegal immigrants across lines.
She actually works for the military on some side. She does some sort of coding stuff, which she can never talk about for the military. So she's out in Germany.
No, but whereabouts is she stationed?
Oh shit, I don't know. She's with her wife out there. They moved out there about 2 years ago, and they're loving it. So they moved from Colorado.
There is actually a German army facility close to me where they listen into all of humanity, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's some military base, but sounds pretty cool. Sounds like a cool life out there. I thought it was around Berlin, but I'm not entirely sure.
That's a bit further away from me. That's about 3 to 4 hour drive, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't want these things to be too long.
That area, Peter, is that beautiful where you're at? That area? I've never been to Europe, so I don't know.
Yeah, I can't complain. I mean, the only thing we don't have is mountains.
Oh, really? It's pretty kind of flat there.
There's a bit of hills just across the border, and if I go a bit north, there's a few hills, which for people like us is pretty exciting because it's higher than a house.
Yep.
But if you go further into Germany and Switzerland, that's absolutely stunningly beautiful, especially when you go visit all the old castles and so my second hometown is Heidelberg in Germany, which has a magnificent old castle. It has the biggest wine barrel in the world, and there's a myth going on that the guy who guarded the wine emptied the barrel on his own.
How big is it?
You can actually several people can go up, and there's a balcony on top.
Did they name cirrhosis of the liver after this guy? Is that where cirrhosis came from?
No, the guy's name was Perkeo.
thought it would cirrhosis.
Cirrhosis.
Yeah. The guy, what was his name that you were talking about? The papers. That name sounded Swedish, possibly. Olog, is it? Was it?
Oftedal. Olaf Oftedal.
Yeah. Is that Swedish, Peter? You would probably know. Sounds Swedish.
It sounds Danish to me. Hold on. I got someone outside. I'll be right back.
Oh, so I spotted this morning. Did you see this?
No, what do we got here?
Oh, I got this from Ken Ham this morning. He wants me to for homeschooling my kittens, my cats. It's not watered down. A homeschool Bible curriculum like no other. But anyway, I want to go down to the bottom here and find out how much it costs. Enjoy free sample lessons or order ABC Homeschool today. So like, I don't know.
This is like a curriculum for homeschooling he wants to put out. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, they put a lot of this stuff out.
Yeah.
They're involved. They show up at every homeschooling conference and they pretty much dominate. So like homeschooling has almost become synonymous with this crap. So
yeah.
Let's see here. Faithful to God's word, teaches doctrine, answers. Let's see. Answers Bible curriculum for homeschool. And that I think the real reason they created it is because of, let's just go see. Get free homeschool lessons. Oh, we get free ones.
Yep. See, I mean, me and you talked about this, right? I mean, to me, that's just child abuse. And like I said, that's a bonus contention, right? And yeah. And like I said, I had this little battle with my own spouse over this. I consider certain things like that as being, child abuse, and she disagrees. Certain, I don't know. The people are entitled to teach their children what they want, but I don't know.
So for $80, if you have one kid. You can buy, of course, $40 a year. And then you buy the teacher's guide. So $40. So not a bad deal. Not a bad deal to teach your kid creationism, if you want to do that. If you should choose to teach your kids crap. Exactly. And if you really want them to fall down when they get to college, go ahead and do this, all the way through. I think they had it all the way. It was K through 12, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's funny that you. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just reading.
Yeah, it's funny how you mentioned that. You probably have seen her around. Lisa for Truth. There, she has her own little, her YouTube channel, and she was on Romania's channel last night. And she was talking about her conversion. She was raised in. I don't know if she said homeschool, but she was raised as a young earth creationist, and she kind of talked about her deconversion, and so she was obviously taught this crap when she was young, and then by the time she got into college, she realized that it was all crap. So that was a typical conversion story once you get into college, and really, as long as you don't go to a Christian college, you're going to learn true science,
Yeah.
Realize it's all garbage.
I got a free lesson.
Oh,
you got your granddaughter around?
Nice. Yeah. Somebody tried that, and I might get weapons out for that.
Joseph rises to power. God, that's a lesson in that we're going to take. I mean, how is that going to help them with the SATs in college? God gave Pharaoh 2 disturbing dreams that his wise men couldn't interpret.
Yep.
Okay. Wait a minute.
SATs. Nobody can beat Maddox. Don't ever forget that, audience. That you are not going to beat Maddox in the SATs. He will challenge you to no end. Yeah. Good.
I have to capture that chat. So I'm going to try to get a free trip to Florida out of him. to go down there and take the SATs with them.
There you go. Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you book me one too?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he'll fly us all down there.
Yeah. Yeah. He's putting the challenge out. Maddox is. He's put out the challenge of a vocabulary challenge too. Thinks he can destroy anybody with that.
So we got a rule on this thing that it ain't going to go for more than, I had hoped for like 15, 20 minutes, but half an hour or an hour is the outside limit on this. So we're shooting an ad in 10 minutes. So, because
good morning, Danny. How are you today?
Hey, Danny.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. What are you doing up?
I'm always up at this time. I'm always doing work around early in the morning. I think when you emailed me in the past, I respond.
Oh yeah, you responded. Yeah, but are you still working like at a job, like a teacher?
No, I just finished teaching summer school, but I get up because either I do stock market stuff or I read or do something.
Oh, you invest?
Yeah, I just started like a couple months ago.
I'm
not good at it. I'm learning, and that's part of what I'm doing in the mornings.
Getting your ass kicked?
No, I made $9,000, which is not bad. I made $2,000 yesterday.
Oh, really?
So
cool.
But I've made mistakes, I just watch YouTube videos. I watch people. I don't know. I just get up. I get up early because I hate getting up early, but I'm kind of programmed to do so because of the kind of work I do. So
yeah,
Danny, you sound like you don't, almost like you don't sleep at all. How much sleep do you get? Do you get a
probably
good amount?
4 to 8 hours? So
yeah. For a long time, I was.
Yeah, because I do a
only
lot,
sleeping
right? Like
4 hours a night. Yeah.
Because I work and then I have grad school and then I have time for YouTube and like talking, and then the thing I gave up in my life so far is video games. I basically gave up video games.
Good. So Danny, who do you trade with, and how fast is it? Like what?
Okay, so I hate Robinhood and Webull and all that stuff. So I've just gotten a new broker. Lightspeed, but they're very expensive.
What is it called?
Lightspeed, but they're very expensive. If you want to do long-term investing, there are better options than Lightspeed. But I use Lightspeed because I trade on a daily basis.
Okay, so how long does it take to basically execute a trade with that?
Like if you put in an order, it's one of the fastest in the world. He's a direct broker, and it's hard for me to describe that. But the point is that you pay to have very fast executions, whereas like on the normal apps. But if you want to fast, the only reason why you want fast executions is if you're planning on selling on the same day, I think, or with
right.
But if you are just investing and you might sell in a few months or even the next week, you don't really need fast execution. You would do better just with a normal kind of broker because the commissions, are usually free. Like on these other, like TD Ameritrade, I would probably recommend. They're not the most intuitive software. They have a lot of analysis tools, but the idea is that they have decent execution, not as fast as Lightspeed. But they're more reliable than like these like idiots on Robinhood and stuff.
So do you pay a percentage for trades, or do you pay like
for Lightspeed? I pay $2 per trade, which is pretty expensive if you're not already starting with a lot of capital. There are other brokers like I said, TD Ameritrade charges $0. TD Bank. Well, they have their own. They have something called the platform is called Thinkorswim, but they're the company is TD Ameritrade. Let me put it in private chat. I'll put a link. They're pretty good. They're free too. Lightspeed I would not recommend unless you're doing hundreds of trades a month.
Yeah.
Let me get you a link 1 second. I would recommend. Do you use margin, or do you just use your cash?
Just cash.
Yeah, then don't worry about interest rates. Then there's TD Ameritrade. I would recommend them if you're looking for a decent free broker, and even you could pull off day trading on TD Ameritrade. It's just not as effective as Lightspeed.
Yeah. And Lightspeed is the other one. Eh? That's it.
Yeah, that one's expensive. It costs like $200 a month.
Yeah.
But I have a trial right now because I'm just doing this on the side because I can't be poor for the rest of my life being a teacher. I have to do other stuff.
Yeah. I used to have a software company that did it was pretty simplistic early computer portfolio management, and we got into options and hedging and all that stuff. It was pretty interesting. We started to get into basically technical and like analysis of stocks and analytics program.
We lost Danny. He must have clicked on something. I wanted to ask him. I want to ask him a question. He'll probably come back.
He is back.
I pushed the wrong button. The last word I heard you say is technical.
Yeah. Yeah. We started getting into technical analysis, and then the company owners decided for some reason to go in opposite directions, and we blew the whole thing. And we ended up killing a company that started right when all those big screens you see with all those graphs and stuff on them and on TV and movies. We were doing that stuff right at the beginning, and we could have been one of those companies, but nope, we decided to disagree with each other because we were young punks.
This was a while ago.
So Danny, any plans like in the future of possibly writing books, maybe? Because that's
absolutely not. I'm a horrible writer. I only write for my professors. I didn't really. I'm not very well practiced in writing. Some people are very good at it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I struggle with. I love learning. I just have a hard time. I have to force myself to read, and I have to force
you said that.
Write.
Yeah.
I wish I was different, and maybe one day
that's a good way to add revenue, right? Obviously, writing books is
a friend offered me to do something like that, but I'd be so stressed, because I'm self-conscious about my writing, But I mean, the thing is that it is a skill. It's not like I don't believe in this. Like, oh, I'm not I mean, I guess I did just say that, but like the idea is that I could cultivate a skill in writing. And I haven't put the work in to do that. I might do it at some point. I have a lot of friends that are very good at writing.
You've got a lot of years left, so it could be maybe later on.
Yeah. Yep, I don't think I'm going to sign up for this free lesson. They want a credit card.
Oh, the free what I linked you?
No, the biblical lesson. The Ken Ham.
Oh, okay. I was like, what in the world asking? Okay, but don't you have to give a bank account? And I was confused.
Yeah. I don't want to do that with Ken Ham. But I kind of wanted to get this lesson on Joseph for my cats. So I could, because I'm homeschooling my cats.
You are funny, Speed.
Yep. Okay, guys. I want to shoot her in the head.
All right.
Is that okay?
Any plans? Should we discuss anything about weather report, or we could talk like you said? We could talk about that new find. Maybe it would be great if Erica was around. We could talk about that new new skull being found, and
that would be good if she would show up.
That would be a great thing. I certainly can't present it because I don't know shit, so I just discovered it myself yesterday. But I certainly couldn't present it because I don't know.
I think it'll be free for all Friday.
Yeah.
Sort of just sit back and see what happens. I don't think not much happened last night. I don't think there was any. Tangelo and
I saw that. Yeah. Is it JL Warren or J something Warren? Yeah.
Right. Did you watch some of that?
I did watch it. I did put it on late last night, and I listened to some of it, and I fell asleep, so I didn't really watch all of it. It didn't seem just a typical.
I watched 10 seconds of it, and Otangelo was talking, and he had that look on his face, and I'm trying to figure out what is that look on his face when he's
disgust
is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's basically this is obviously just my opinion. He's disgusted with atheists, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's not this deep hatred like some do, but I don't know. I think he definitely has some disgust for sure.
I can't stand listening to Otangelo. I have to.
It's really hard. Yeah. And then that look on his face. Maybe if I turned the video off, it would be better. But no, I don't think so. I think that would even drive me up a wall.
The worst thing about watching him on video too is it just seems like he's reading from his screen, and you're like, "Oh, what am I talking to right now? Am I talking to a blog, or am I talking to someone that's hear me out?"
He does read constantly. He reads these long lists, and it's like, oh my god, we've heard all this shit before. And then he talks to PhD biologists, and he tries to educate them about biology, and that is just maddening. So,
my theory on that is that on Tangelo, he has to read. That's why he has set up that huge blog that he has, that he's just really not capable of giving his almost his own thoughts, his own opinions on things, because he makes mistakes. And I think when he tries to do that, he makes major mistakes, truly, and reveals his true, ideology, I guess you'd say, or whatever. He reveals what he really believes, and he makes mistakes, and he embarrasses himself. So I think he's come to the point where he just won't. He avoids that at every cost and tries to read everything versus actually.
Just occurred to me. Yeah. So the reason why I'm happier to be obsessed with Cell than Otangelo is that Cell actually gives me challenges to go out and look after, right? Whereas Otangelo, the only thing he offers is like a biology textbook, which I already own. So it's almost like he's just reading textbooks, and he doesn't really offer any real challenges at all. And the same with Maddox. All he offers is this information. In any other context, would an iPhone appear by chance? There's nothing to grab onto. Cell Cordova, I mean, he gives me like 4 or 5 things of video that I can really dig into that are valid. So
absolutely. So
I mean, he is in that way. He is the top creationist of the group.
Yeah, well, Cell's educated, and he's really digging into stuff versus the rest of them. None of them are really educated in anything.
Yeah, and then Standing for Truth now, he actually puts out a whole lot of things that you could grab onto. Unfortunately,
he does. Yeah,
it's almost they're slipperier. They're not real things. They're bullshit from Creation Institute. So you would have to do like 10 times as much work on any one of his little mitochondrial DNA things or whatever. But with Cell, it's doable. So I do like concentrating on Cell for the time being. Standing needs a beating real badly. I mean, he hasn't had a beating for a while. So,
hi, Simone.
Yeah, we should jump in. We should jump in on Standing for Poop. We should look into that.
They put it out so fast and furious, says like Cell will put out, maybe 4 things in a video. Standing for Truth puts out like 150 things per video that you would have to dig into and research. And I think that's his game. That is the basis of his ministry,
Yeah, exactly.
They just overwhelm you,
Yeah.
But we're going to get to Standing. It's like just sitting here waiting, gathering, putting together various nuclear weapons and infantry and
I
tanks.
see Saxy Calzone is in our chat. He was one that was involved in that little side chat battle with little Peepee, because it
Yeah,
was
I'm gonna go
me
look
and
that up.
me and him and some Marshall was in there too. We were kind of all battling with little Peepee, and that's when he wrote that, the challenge of the vocabulary challenge and the SAT challenge.
And that was on the Stinky stream from yesterday, right?
No, that was on Rage's stream.
Oh, Rages. Okay.
Yeah, he did a little short skit yesterday.
I saw a comment that he had a vocabulary challenge, and someone else in the side chat said, "Well, we can do that once you can string a sentence together."
Yeah,
that was me.
You.
I wrote that.
Yeah,
I wrote that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, guys, we gotta kill this thing.
Okay.
At least let Simon say hi. He joined. I mean,
say hi, Simons, and goodbye.
Good morning, Simons.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Especially goodbye, Cruel Speed.
Yeah, goodbye, Cruel Speed.
Oh shit!
I did have something to say, but never mind. It'll wait till next time.
I am such a good host.
Yeah.
Okay,
come by this afternoon, Simon.
We're up.
No problem.